Diddy beat the case by Omizi. Good homie Omizi. Great guy. Great friend of the channel. It's time to peep this video. I hope the title is just, or nah, not the title. I hope this man Diddy isn't getting free or anything, because that man should not be free. That man should not be free. Do not let the freaky man out, because he will come back to bite. All right, let's beep.
I kid you not. People are pouring baby oil on one another outside this courthouse. Baby oil having a very big play in the freak offs we heard about. You have people saying it's not RICO, it's FRICO.
Oh my God. I feel like, actually, you know what? I'm just going to let the video play it. Okay, you know what? Nah, F that. I'm saying it, bro. I feel like these people are government planted, bro. This is CIA. These are CIA agents, bro. There is no way, bro. There is no way that we have actual human beings standing outside dumping baby oil on themselves at the Diddy case, bro. Or outside of the Diddy case because he beat the case. Omar contributed to the madness. Okay, I remember that video. I remember that video of Omar pouring the baby oil on himself. But at least this man is not standing outside the court case pouring the baby oil on himself. This looks like Sexy Red. Oh my God, this is bad. Whoa, you're about to have a nip slip. You're about to have a nip slip. Ma'am, it's not that serious. Diddy is not going to invite you to the parties. He's not going to invite you. You're too old. You're too old. You're way too old to be doing this. He's not inviting you to the parties or any of that. He's not doing any of that. Ma'am, you don't got to do this, ma'am. Oh my gosh.
I don't know what she gonna do, y'all.
And he's, bro, what the fuck? Yo, what? Did y'all see it? Bro, he was going like this. He was going like. Bro, did y'all see that old man back there? Hold on, bro.
I don't know.
Look at him. Look at him. Unk. Come on now, Unk. There's something you can be doing way better, man. Unk, bro. You look fly, bro. You do not gotta be pouring baby oil on this woman outside of Diddy's case, man. This is terrible.
What's she gonna do, y'all?
Maybe I do need to revisit the Black Fatigue video. Maybe I was wrong. In a shocking turn of events that I don't think a lot of people saw coming today, Diddy found not guilty on damn near everything at this point.
What? Not guilty? Brother. Okay, nah.
Stuck on his jacket, one being transportation to engage in prostitution of Cassie, and the
racketeering conspiracy. What? He was found not guilty on those? What?
other one in transportation to engage in a prostitution. This one was of a Jane Doe, but not on the 2 counts of sex trafficking and not on the racketeering conspiracy charge. Now, as I record right now, there has not been any sort of sentencing on the 2 transportation charges, but I will say that those are the lesser of the evils. Those only come with at max 10 years apiece, so 20 years, but at max he's not gonna face the max. It's quite unprecedented that Diddy basically beat a RICO case. He beat the feds, and he could get maybe some time served or, you know, some sort of bail, which we'll talk about.
Does this man have Ace Attorney as his lawyer? Bro, what?
Out in a minute, or he could walk out scot-free today. I will say to me that this is like extremely shocking. On this channel, we haven't been following up on the Diddy case like we should have. After the initial baby oil stunt, I stepped a little bit away, but honestly, court cases are so convoluted, have so much evidence involved, and are intertwined with people's actual lives that every time I got a glimpse into the situation, honestly, it hurt my heart. Like, no joke. It hurt my heart to participate in these conversations. We saw the Cassie video. We knew he was a monster from past stories and things that were said about him in the hip hop industry. This almost seemed like a slam dunk case, but to be honest with you, a lot of us are sitting here blindsided today. Now, I will say I erred on the side of caution because one thing and one thing only stood out to me. This verdict was close to a holiday, a major holiday. And I know what happens when cases come close to a major holiday. I saw it in the Tory Lanez trial versus the state where it It was brushed up against the holiday, and people that were deliberating was like, you know what, been gone for long enough, kind of want to wrap this up fast and hurry. I don't want to be a part of this situation anymore than it has to be. Plus, I get a 3-day weekend. I'm going home. Now, after settling that lawsuit, more lawsuits came out where there were allegations of sexual assault in the 90s, underage claims that were going on in the past. Diddy denied a bunch of these things, damn near all of these things. There were claims that he was grooming in 2024, early 2024, and all these cases and all these claims started to stack up against Diddy, and most of them had no substantial proof. But then in May 2024, that is when the Cassie video dropped, which opened up Pandora.
I remember when this video dropped. It was super, like, watching that video, it makes you so mad just watching it. It's been like, dang. Like, this man is actually a monster. And the thing is, like, he's in Hollywood and stuff like that. So he's very protected, you know? Nobody would talk about this stuff. No one would. Or, I mean, people would talk about it. But, it's like, seeing it happen, it's so much different than, like, hearing someone say something about it, you know? It just feels like, it's a gross feeling. Like, I just remember when that video dropped. But I'm glad it dropped so a lot of people could see what this man was really doing.
Doors box for everyone to believe everything that was said in the past, and
Facts. It wouldn't get taken serious until the video dropped.
Everyone else to come down the pipeline. So as lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit kept piling up and piling up and piling up, I mean, it just made Diddy look worse than anything we had ever seen before. Hearing about trauma is one thing, but seeing trauma and seeing it in literal 4K is another. Eventually, he gets hit with this RICO after multiple claims, multiple cases, multiple lawsuits, him trying to seemingly flee the country, running around, celebrate. That was a mess of a time. I know people don't really remember, but that was a whale of a time. But ultimately, he gets hit with this RICO case, and in this RICO case, he's getting charged with conspiracy, trafficking, prostitution, all these other things like that. So with all that evidence up against him, that people saw being depicted out in court, they were wondering how the hell could something like this happen or reach a verdict today where he is getting off with less than a slap on the wrist.
Exactly. My bad. I'm eating some nuts right now. I'm super hungry, bro. I'm sorry. But exactly.
Goes on to say he was not guilty on both charges of trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion in connection with Ventura and Jane. Combs was accused of being the ringleader of an alleged enterprise that abused, threatened, and coerced women into prolonged drug-fueled sexual orgies with male prostitutes, which he called freak-offs, and then threatened them into silence. Combs has said that all of this was consensual, and that while his relationships sometimes involved domestic violence,
wow,
he wasn't engaging in trafficking. Combs' lawyer, Mark A., said Combs was simply part of the swinger lifestyle and that he vehemently denies the accusations made by the Southern District of New York.
Shouts out to friend of the show, AV to the 7th Power. She broke it down beautifully on her live stream as to what happened in real time from the perspective of a lawyer. I definitely recommend that you guys check it out because over here, we just here to make you laugh and giggle. We don't necessarily know all of the facts. I'm not going to claim to be some sort of expertise, but I do want to break down a little bit as to why he did not get hit with what a lot of people thought he could get hit with. People were on the timeline asking, how do you get hit with...
Ain't Trump say he was gonna pardon Diddy? I don't think so. I do not think so. But if he did, I wouldn't be surprised because that man Trump was chilling with Jeffrey Epstein.
The prostitution, transportation of that and stuff like that, but not the trafficking. It's that simple coercion and force and money portion of it. And that's the reason why he ultimately didn't get hit with those things. Now, I saw what I saw in the video from Cassie, but they were claiming that she took his phone and ran out. So that's what caused P. Diddy to, you know, go out there and be abusive to her in the hallway. And they acknowledged a bunch of abuse that was going on throughout the duration of their relationship. It's even weird to talk about this stuff. But ultimately, none of that was linked to, you know, the sexual acts. The acts were free and willing by the participants is what they were saying. There are even people on the timeline saying that the prosecution made the mistake of, you know, trying to portray P. Diddy as some sort of freakball general the whole time, not necessarily some sort of criminal organizers. If you remember in the Young Thug
Dude, that joke is like crazy, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Diddy, oh my. Dude, I'm trying to like wrap my head around this stuff, bro. Because it's messed up to think about. Like, my bad. I'm gonna just let the video play, and then I'm gonna give my thoughts, bro. I'm gonna give my thoughts.
Case, it was a conglomerate of people. There were 28 people, which makes sense for a RICO case. You know, it's supposed to be some sort of organization. There should be a lot of names and faces attached to this. So where are all these people?
Because here's the thing. In the Young Thug case, we had 28 people indicted. 28. So it wasn't just Thug. Thug was allegedly the kingpin. You know, I think in their opening argument, they said he was the leader of the pack or something like that, right? But here with Diddy, notice that these charges are against Diddy and Diddy alone, not Diddy and other people, not KK, the assistant, not, you know, like it's Diddy and his companies. Bad Boy, right?
Right.
I don't know if Revolt was listed, but it was just Diddy and his company.
You know
So when you
crazy?
had
When I was younger, I remember I would be grounded, and one of the coolest channels I used to watch was Revolt. I did not know that Diddy owned that channel. Crazy enough. I did not know that Diddy owned that.
companies, those are entities.
I think instead of pursuing this angle that Diddy was some sort of freak ball and bringing somebody like a Cassie Ventura, who ultimately had to speak on her behalf, onto the stand, they should have definitely focused on the criminal acts and how
Cam been a Diddy guy since a kid. That is crazy. That is insane. Insane.
How they could link those things together. Not only because they possibly missed out on getting the conviction of somebody who a lot of people just would think is just evil. Like they understand the stories, the lore about P. Diddy. This is not some sort of secret. I'm not breaking any news right here, but they do think that he is evil. But also it would keep us from these nasty conversations about Cassie Ventura being some sort of complicit party in this. And look, if you watched the case and heard some of the things that Cassie said about, you know, sticking around, or the phone calls where she said she could have somebody packed up and stuff like that, you probably have a new perspective on Cassie as a whole. But two things are true. One, she is a victim. I mean, we've seen it on 4K closed circuit television. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't care. She ended up taking his phone and running down the hallway. There's no way you put your hands on that type of woman. And
exactly. CCTV footage, 4K. It's legit in our face right there. In our face. Excuse me.
Two, mentally, everything is not right up there. I can't begin to imagine the mind state of somebody who had been put through some of the traumas and some of the situations and stuff that was described in this court case. So I'm not even going to pretend. But I do know one thing. I think that this is going to set a nasty precedent for people that are involved in situations like this. Now, granted, I do think that a lot of times, you know, when Tony Busby or the likes are attached to these lawsuits against celebrities, that, you know, people should generally ignore them. Tony Busby is just out there to get clout and money, et cetera, especially because he's, you know, had a bunch of cases dismissed or whatever. But that does not mean that these uber powerful people do not take advantage of the women or the men or the children in their lives. We know that Hollywood is weird. We do not have to act as if it's not weird.
The reason why you got to question P. Diddy's lawyers is because these are things that they brought up. Now, mind you, it may be a way to get them off the greater charges in the conversation by openly admitting, yo, this is...
I know this is like super off topic, but I see the sun outside and I'm just thinking, like, dang, if I hopped in that whip, I know it was probably steaming when you first hop in. It's been raining a lot recently, so I haven't had that issue, luckily, but I know it was super hot when he hopped into the whip, bro. I know it was super hot.
A violent man, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But was there any sort of criminal organization going on? No, not at all. That got him off the bigger charges. However, it's coming back to bite him in the butt now because he will have to sit in a prison cell because they are deeming him to be a violent man.
And so now when we're searching for this perfect victim all the time because Cassie kept trying to go back and she is a part of the...
Okay.
Stop. You people I can't take serious because you're not taking this thing serious. You're no different than the people who are doing the parlays for Diddy.
Diddy parlays? What? Diddy parlays? I did not know people were doing Diddy parlays. I knew that you could parlay a lot of things, like when the whole Ocean Gate thing was happening and the people died. They did like a parlay to see if they could, when they were gonna get found. But a Diddy parlay? Are we serious? Oh my god, dudes will throw a parlay on anything, bruh.
And putting money down to see what he gets charged with, or the people that are outside of the court making an absolute boondock skit fool of themselves while Diddy is being read his sentencing. Like, I don't even understand what these people are doing. Why don't they have jobs?
You can have these two items, they're legal, but if you put them together, you end up in a RICO.
What?
So, remember I told y'all what...
I'm telling you, this has to be, this guy right here is paid by the government to tear down the black community. I swear, there is no way. There is no way that this is a real human being. This has to be AI. This has to be their AI humanoids. Humanoid. This has to be AI. There's no way this is real. No way. Betting on Diddy is genuinely wild. Exactly. That is insane.
You see this? If it don't slip, you must have quit. You must have quit.
Oh my goodness. Say that again?
If it don't slip, you must have quit.
Black fatigue. Now, one thing that did come to
Terrible.
mind when this happened, because some of us did think that this was a possibility beforehand, is that what happens to P. Diddy afterwards? We've seen situation after situation in which public figure that is extremely popular gets hit with some sort of criminal case where women, children, men, whatever are involved, and they are vulnerable and they are ultimately victims, whether it be proven on video or in the court hearings. And honestly, their public perception does not change. Now, we've seen stuff be altered and people have different thoughts and opinions and feelings on certain people, but I'm seeing a lot of people, whether they be commenters on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, whether it be the people outside the court, that are extremely jovial over the fact that P. Diddy, somebody who has admitted...
This YouTuber is really good. Who is, bro? Omeezy, bro. Make sure to sub up to Omeezy, one of the goats on YouTube.
Knowledge to doing things that are still bad. Like, I don't think that people think that domestic violence is a good thing, are just sitting there happy that he is free. Now, his public image, he can't just go out there and be his normal self again. I do know that to be a fact. Nobody is sitting here, you know, welcoming P. Diddy to the public parties of the events. He's not going to be at WNBA All-Star Weekend or Summer League with the other rappers involved.
None of that.
He's damn sure not going to be the
none
next
of that.
guest on a Kai Cenat stream, of course. Whether he gets bailed out today or tomorrow, that doesn't matter. It's cooked for that. But what does this mean for
Funny
him
enough, well, not funny enough, this is kind of crazy. Aiden Ross, I'm pretty sure he said if Diddy was like getting freed, he'd be the first to get him on stream, which is insane. Like, that is wild. I know there would be a bunch of people like trying to interview Diddy and stuff like that, but bro, of course Aiden would be trying to do that. Do you think it matters if the charges are correct for what you get imprisoned for? Yeah, I think so. I think that does make sense. Yeah. Like Al Capone being imprisoned for tax fraud. Did he actually? Did he get imprisoned for tax fraud? Wasn't Al Capone like, I don't want to just say anything crazy. Wasn't he a gangster? And he was like offing people? Yeah. He got in there for tax fraud? What? I did not know that. I did not know that. Not all the murders and racketeering? What? No, that's kind of crazy. That is insane. That's kind of crazy. I thought Al Capone would have got in there for like murders and stuff like that. Yeah. He got in there for tax fraud? Bro, what? It was the 30s? Yo, nah. Yo, I'm crying, bro. I'm actually crying. He got in there for tax fraud? Wow. Dang. That's what happens all the time, though? Jeez, yeah. Dude, the legal system is kind of messed... Not even kind of. It's pretty messed up, bro. It's pretty messed up. It's pretty messed up. I feel like there are times where it works really well, but then there are some times where it's like, dang. Like, it's pretty flawed. But at the same time, though, I feel like that's with a lot of things in life.
public appearance, public image? Do we forget in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, or do we take a stand as a community and say, hey, you know what? I don't like this. I'm not agreeing to any of this. This is messed up. And then also, what does this mean for future people that come out and attempt to speak about a powerful man? I don't think it's any secret Diddy is a powerful man, and there are already some people who are fearing for their lives in regards to him.
Literally.
You already fear about reprisals against you just for speaking out. Would you be genuinely concerned about him coming after you? Is that one of the reasons you've left the country?
Well, here's the thing. Only thing I fear is God and my mom. And I made a promise to my mom that, I'm not gonna revert to an old lifestyle. And I know if he walks, I'm gonna be target number one, which is fine.
Even though I'm not sure who this is off the look of him, but even though, like, actually, I should let him finish his sentence, but like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna let him finish his sentence.
And I'm used to that. It's kind of exciting for me.
Is that exciting or is that slightly scary?
Oh, no, it's definitely exciting, Pierce.
And it's not like he didn't get a good description or depiction of all the other jurors that were put out there. I mean, they have that information, so that is freely accessible. But even outside of them, there are other situations in which powerful men will be put on trial. The painting of the people involved in the case will be very, very bad, and then if they get to walk free because maybe incompetence by the court, or maybe there just wasn't the perfect victim in the situation. What does this mean for not only their health, safety, and well-being, but also the conversation about these people? I'm flabbergasted about this situation, but hey, it is what it is. I thought this man was freaky and wild and should have been put under the jail. The justice system did its big one on this one, though. That's crazy.
So I'm out here trying to live my life after the initial recording of the first portion of this P. Diddy video, when he got called back into the courtroom to see if he was getting out today, tomorrow, or sometime in the future. And the judge straight up denied his bond.
W blocked by James. W.
It was said that his bond was proposed to be $1 million that was supposed to be co-signed by him and his family and his mom and stuff like that. Then also surrendering of the passport, only being able to fly to certain districts and the other pretrial conditions and stuff like that. The judge was like, absolutely not. The reasons why make a lot of sense, and it makes you question P. Diddy's lawyers and his tactics. So the judge cited that, he would have to prove essentially that he was not a risk or a burden for violence towards the community, and he hadn't. He cited the incidences, not just the Cassie incident in the hotel that one time, but the multiple times of violence there, the multiple times of violence toward Miss Jane Doe, whoever she may be, the unknown person in this case, and just said, hey, this is not a guy who can do things the right way, the upstanding way, and ultimately may potentially give more harm to people out there in the community, so he's gonna have to stay in jail behind those bars. Again, maybe a slap on the wrist. Maybe people are still stunned from all this, but for now he'll have to sit in a jail cell while he waits for his sentencing ultimately. I'm just still shell-shocked at this getting to this point right here.
This is insane. I'm super surprised off of that. I'm very surprised. I'm scared for a lot of the victims, though, I will say. And I'm also scared for the people who maybe have like beef with Diddy or something. Yeah, this is crazy. But W video by Omizi. W video